All right, folks, and we got a market that's on its back legs. I think it'd be good, John, before we got to the slides, if we went to a live market and let me analyze it using the Seven Sisters. Start out with D-Mini. Why don't you just blow up D-Mini and let me talk about that? Everybody check in. Tell me where you're signing in from, where I'll make sure that you can hear me okay before I get into this. All right, let me walk you. First, put it on a daily, Jonathan. Put it on a daily. And if you look at yesterday's high, write these numbers down, 68.72, yesterday's high. Well, yeah, no, 68.84. Write that number down, 68.84.
Is that the weekly high, Tom?
Well, I'm just putting the cursor over yesterday's high and writing in, what the high was, because we got to get higher than that to turn this baby around. 68.84. Write that down.
Oh.
These numbers are going to make us money if everybody will write it down and follow along. Okay, we got yesterday's high.
Tom,
now let's go.
Tom, yesterday's high I have is 68.43.
Well,
84 came from Tuesday, is what I got.
Let me go back. Sorry about that. Thank you for interrupting me. Okay, I downloaded the data. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys, 68.43. Write that number down, 68.43. Actually, just make it 68.45. Thanks, Jonathan. That's why you need backup. Now go to a 30-minute chart. Let's start out last night, okay? Let's start out last night. Reference bar one's high was what, Jonathan? I'm going to let you tell me since I screwed up. I lost my position of authority there. So what was yesterday's or RB1's high last night?
I had it at 67.64. 67.64.
Okay, 67.64. Okay. 67.64 was RB1's high, correct?
Right.
RB2's high was what?
67.58.
Okay, let me do something here. 58 was its high. I'm gonna write these down where I can remember. Okay, so we got 60. Give me the first number. Yesterday's daily high or day before. Yeah, yesterday. What was its high? 60. Was it 68 or 67?
68.43 was yesterday.
Okay, 68.43. Then we did RB1's high. Last night was
67.64.
64. Okay, RB2's high.
67.58.
Okay, and now that's RB2. Tell me X high.
67.39.
Okay, 67.39. And then tell me RB3's high.
67.23.
Okay, let's stop there. Folks, what I'm looking for is to recognize when the market's going to reverse. Everybody understand that? But using these reference bars, as you can see, 68.43 down to 67.64, down to 67.58, down to 67.39, down to 67.20. We haven't had a new high, have we? We haven't had a new high, okay? Now, knowing the number one rule that 75% of all stocks follow the S&P, it's no surprise that the market broke the big number, which is 67.25. And that's a big number, folks, 67.25. As I've said, if it breaks that number, we we've got to be real cautious. So I want everybody to understand that, okay? Everybody give me a yes that you understand what I'm saying. Okay. Now, this exercise I just did, I do this when I see this kind of market. It's leaving where buyers are stepping in. It tells me, people are feeling depressed because there's not enough buying to go, for the market to make a new high in the last, 24 hours. And we'll do the same exercise every day until we get a market that reverses. Any questions about this technique I just taught you? So the next reference bar, okay, the next reference bar will be Genesis, and we will note the high of Genesis. Just because you're bullish, or if it goes up on Genesis, it's got to take out the previous reference bar's high, which is 67.23. Everybody understand how that works? So even if Genesis was bullish, okay, it's going to have to take out 67.23 to really be bullish. Okay. No, I understand, Doc, but do you follow what I've done with my reference bars getting us here? I'm trying to act like we've been gone, we're coming back, we're trying to see what to do in this market, right? Because you look at some of these stocks and you say the natural tendency is to say to follow. Hey, there might be a buy here. You see what I'm saying? The natural tendency is for you to say, hey, look at NVIDIA, it's dropped from X, or Palantir's dropped from X. I'm trying to save you money, okay? Now let me ask another question. Do we have any two bars looking at the market where you see a higher bar on the current bar from the preceding bar as we've come down? Any two bars? There's liquidation going on is what the point I'm trying to make, okay? Until you get a positive bar, you can't even think about buying things, okay? Okay, I'm just putting that out there, okay? We're below the key number, 67.25. Hands are off the mouse. We're waiting for evaluation. The next best time will be Genesis when we get another reading at Genesis. I want to teach you how all this plays together where we're not surprised, okay? Now, let's go to our slides, Jonathan. Let's go to our slides. I wanted to cover that up front where you could see risk involved in trading. Past performance is not indicative of future results, okay? Philip, I'll answer your question in a second. Let me go through this series of slides. Now let me stop. I have a bullish trade on NVIDIA. What did I do yesterday with that spread I have in December? I did a calendar spread and I took a loss on another one, right, Jonathan? Explain what I did on NVIDIA before I go any further. I sold a calendar spread inside what I was long in December.
Yeah, basically I had a December debit spread, and we went to a month prior, November, and sold the same strikes, but as a credit spread.
I basically reduced my risk to figure out what November is telling me, okay? That's what I did. I took money off the table by selling that calendar. Didn't cost me any extra money. It was just a way to acknowledge, hey, this trade, the market's going lower. That's all that was knowledge. I didn't take my loss on the one in December because it's still early in the month of November. Everybody understand my thinking? I might end up having to take a loss, but the point is, I had enough time. I said I'm gonna put a calendar on. I told Jonathan to do it yesterday. We did it yesterday about 10 o'clock. Okay. Right. It was the opposite trade, but it had a shorter calendar. It's going to deplete a lot faster than the December because you got longer time. Okay. That's what I did. Remember, it was a probe anyway. Okay. But that's what I was doing. I just want you to know what I was doing because I think sometimes we have to do things. Don't want to explain. Any questions more about NVIDIA? Question would be, is NVIDIA still up for its year? Of course it is. I'm still bullish on NVIDIA. I'm just not bullish today on NVIDIA. Okay? All right, that's my opinion on that. Now, there's three reasons I've identified for market weakness. One, what Powell did about throwing up interest rates. That was intentional. He wanted this market to come down, and he accomplished his objective. Secondly, before the Supreme Court, we have the tariff discussion. Right now, if you look at the tariff discussion, it's really leaning towards they're going to not let the president do it, if you look at the odds. And the third is the government shutdown. The rumor was, I think the reason we held together, the rumor was after the election, the Dems would sign on. But the Dems are being empowered because if you check the polls now, you got the election, but you also have the fact where it was 60-40, where everybody didn't blame the Republicans. Now it's, I think, 52-48. There's been a change in sentiment. Speaking of sentiment, if you follow the sentiment that was posted today, okay? If you follow the sentiment that's posted today, there's a big decline in consumer sentiment. Everyone now, and the way you think about it, everyone now is starting to feel not so good, right? We're used to seeing the market go up 7 out of 10 days, and now we're on our third straight day of down markets. We're not used to that. There's a change going on. And the VIX, as Doctor just pointed out, the VIX is right now, just to let you know, they're not letting up. The VIX today is up 8.28. That's pretty severe. Okay. So these are the three reasons I can identify, and I'm really concerned about the government shutdown because the Senate is holding on to the theory they don't want to get rid of the filibuster rule, and Trump is right, they need to get rid of it. We shouldn't have government shutdowns and take our chances down the road. Just leave it on the side and save this country because what they're doing is killing the economy. Okay? That's what's going on. That's my opinion. Next. How long would a government shutdown last? If you're following, this is the best website I think you can keep up with rather than watch news. Jonathan, read the numbers.
It says the current shutdown is 37 days. That's hard to see. It's in the green portion here. Small print right there where my mouse is. And the current prediction is it'll last 49 days.
It's extended, isn't it? It's going bigger.
Yep.
This is a very valuable website for you to have and check, okay? Because the government because I asked myself the question, what catalyst would stop the decline? Earnings can't do it right now because, Palantir, all these earnings that have come out have been really good. And the market is diverging from the news on the earnings because of the three factors I gave you. Okay? So let's name three things that could happen. The government shutdown get over, right? That's number one. That would cause the market to rally. Number two, the tariff situation is decided in Trump's favor. That would cause the market to rally. And number three, Powell would do an interest rate cut, but I don't think my odds would say he's going to play this thing out to the maximum. I mean, a normal Fed chairman would probably cut the rate before the next meeting. And Jonathan, when's the next meeting of the Fed? Everybody needs to write that date down.
Let's see here, Tom. At FOMC is in December. I can't remember the exact date, but I think it's the 8th and 9th. But I'm going to double check real quick.
Double check. We need good numbers there. The day we're going to have the Fed meeting.
9th and 10th. December 9th and 10th.
We could be a lot lower by December 9th and 10th without any of those things happening to spur a rally. I can't think of anything else. Can anybody else think of anything else that might be a catalyst to keep the market out of the downtrend? Okay? I can't think of it. Well, Cherry said maybe solving the Ukraine war. I think it's got to be domestic. I think it's got to be domestic, something positive domestic. Okay? That's my personal view. I can't think of anything. Brian says, Ohio State loses and Bama goes to number one. I'm not sure. All right. All right, let's keep going. Welcome to Train and Trade. Thanks for being here. And this is Friday. All trades I'm doing, and I updated. Did you see where I updated the moneymaker in TNT and gave you the new projected low? Did everybody see that? I said new, where I said the new projected low would be, let me check it, 66.75 for the mini, and it's 66.66. Chuck, I'm willing to put a 45 down there. You have a better number like 52 or something like that? We need to change that.
I think your best support's probably going to be at 66.32. And if you go to your daily chart in the E-mini S&P, you'll see that amount once but twice. Not too long.
So if we go to 66.32, we're going to exceed the average true range by quite a bit if you take the high and low. The average true range for the E-mini, that's 94 points, right? 94 points from the high. Let's just do it here. 94 from 72, 67, 72 be 66. Yeah, we're already exceeded it. Well, let's go with 66.45 and then we'll go to 32. We get there.
Sounds good.
Rob, nothing right now. Nothing right now. And change it to, he's going to put in there 66.45. If we go through 45, next stop 32. Chuck, why is 32 important?
If you go back and look at your daily charts, 32 is the number that you're going to see before you get to that big drop down the October low way down at 65.40. So that's a little bit farther than what I would expect the market to be able to give today. But if we're already in an accelerated downtrend, I don't think the 32 is off the table.
Okay. Well, that's good to know, but I'm telling you right now, you've already exceeded the average true range. That's a rare thing to happen. And then you got Genesis coming up, which starts in 6 minutes. I want to stop everybody. Does everybody understand everything I've covered so far? This is a great experience for people. I know it's painful, but it's a great experience to do what I just did, to give you a roadmap of how to handle a decline. You know, a close below, notice I say a close below 67.25 will throw the quarter up move in doubt. I want you to understand that. That's a serious close if we close down there, okay? And right now it's 66.75, okay? Just want you to know that. All right, next slide. All right, I used the 3-day algo for prepping for next week, okay? And right now, we're below the 3-day low. Jonathan, what's the 3-day low for D-mini?
67.48. 67.48
is the 3-day low, which is right up there at 67.39 to 58, or right there in between. There's your number, folks. And John, I'll let you cover this part.
Okay, 67.48 is the FE low on the S&P futures. So when I was talking to Tom earlier today, we wanted to cover a few questions to ask during periods of time like this. And the first one is when to act on the first 3-day algo. Everybody knows we formed the first 3-day algos this week. It happened to be Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of this week, but it's not always like that. The new month never, doesn't usually start on a Monday. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. So when do you act on the 3-day algo? The answer is typically the first Tuesday after a breakout or breakdown. So why Tuesday? Well, we have a process that's somewhat similar to the first 3 days. The first 3 days is for, on a monthly basis. The week start, we call it week start, is on a weekly basis where we take the first trade day of the week, form a high-low frame, and we go from there. See if the market can, if the market's breaking down, can it break down further below Monday's low? Or if the market's breaking out to the upside, all right, if it's above the 3-day algo, can it break above Monday's high? That typically signals a weekly move. So above Monday's high, a stock's trying to go higher. Below Monday's high, a stock is going to go lower. And we could find countless, examples of that this week to the downside, of course. That's a good framework for not only the month, for the first 3 days, but also for the week, for the Monday high and low. Sometimes Monday's a holiday. We would use Tuesday's market in that instance.
And Jonathan, let me just throw this in there, one other little twist. That Tuesday you're talking about, November 11th, is Veterans Day.
Is it Monday Veterans Day? Monday's Veterans Day, right?
No, Tuesday is Veterans Day.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah, so fun times.
Next Tuesday is November 11th. That's a holiday, isn't it? I mean, don't they still shut down everything, or we trade during Veterans Day? I can't remember.
We're going to continue trading, but it's probably going to be lighter volume than normal.
So they don't shut down everything, is what you're saying.
I'll have to double check at the NYSE, but the CME will be open for normal hours.
I think that's probably your answer.
What does the NYSE say about Veterans Day? They do not have Veterans Day listed as a holiday, so we're gonna be open, fully open on Tuesday.
Okay.
Okay, so question number 2 is, what is the success rate of using the 3-day algo? Well, here's where we
What we're
want.
trying to say there, go back. What we're trying to say is, when is it operational in a real market where the success is? Typically, I wait to Tuesday of next week before I will get aggressive. And by the way, I want you to write this down as an insight. Remember when I told you I bring everything in and get real tight during the first 3 days of the month? You ought to write that down. You can expect that out of me, where I don't have, we got a few open positions, but I don't have, a whole bunch of stuff right now. I got 1 or 2 here and there. But the point is, that first 3 days of the month, okay, is where I'm evaluating. This is where I do my analysis for the month of November, okay? So that's the way I do it. I think you see the benefit now, why from experience has taught me, back away, think things out. And that first Tuesday guides my thinking. I wanted to say that because this really underlines that, our strategy.
So we just wanted to show a couple of examples here on using the FTD algo. We have a pretty neat tool called MTI by DTI that makes it very clear. This is a picture on Apple when it got above the 3-day algo last month in October. Had a decent little 7% move up for the month. Now, that was Apple. And we have NVIDIA. Once it got above the 3-day algo, you can see there from that green arrow on the chart, it's shot up 11.5%. That's NVIDIA. And then probably one of the better performing stocks last month was Micron. It had a continuation move. It was already above the MTI lines, heading higher, continued so in the month of October, and it moved up 40% in the month of October. And I want to show you one thing. That right there might be hard to see, but that's the month open line. And notice how the trend continued. We have a new month open line here. And see what's happening now? We're breaking down below the month open. So MTI by DTI makes it really, really clear. It's very simple. Everybody loves it because it's so simple. But this is MTI by DTI. And yes, Cheryl, it is based on the first 3 days algo. Thanks for asking.
It's quite a tool that we developed to take advantage of what we know to work, which is the 3-day algo. And you can see it so clearly by using it. It caused the sell-off in 2022 in the first 5 days of that 2022 when I said, get short and don't buy anything. And down we went. This is a tool that I use quite regularly during this period of the first 3 or 4 days. Okay? That's the way I do it. Is this helping us taking this kind of time and going through these details? Because I know you wonder, how do you do this? And by doing all this stuff, it puts it in an order for you that you can understand it as the month develops. Okay? Good.
Question number 3, what's the most important index to watch when trying to determine market direction?
I just let them answer. What do you think the most important index that I watch and I have determined to follow market direction? Everybody's getting it right. E-mini. I make a lot of decisions based off what that E-mini's doing. You got it. And the reason is the E-mini trades 24 hours, number one, and 75% of all stocks follow it. So today, you see in these stocks, they're down. Why they're down? Well, I showed you on a chart of the E-mini how we hadn't made a high since the last high we made was 67.23. It keeps making lower highs. Okay? That is why the E-mini is so important. I put it in my T-Buzz TV. Think about what I did in T-Buzz TV this morning. I said the pivot number is 67.25. The high was 67. How valuable is that? You had that before this market opened this morning and said, whoa, we're below the pivot number. I'm not buying NVIDIA or these stocks because they're cheap, because 75% of them do what? Follow the E-mini. Learn it. It'll save you a fortune over the years. Way after I'm out of here, it'll save you a fortune. Knowing that one insight. That's why I spend so much time showing people why this works. Okay. I made my point.
Question number 4, what tools do we use to make decisions for long, short, or out? Well, we have MTI by DTI and the roadmap software. And we're going to focus on the trade tracker today. This is what MTI by DTI looks. It's quite a bit to it. I'm going to circle on the left. You get a daily and intraday scanner, and I got the daily on the left, intraday on the right. And let's see what's in here. I got the NASDAQ 100. I got, just going down the list, Airbnb, Adobe. Those are both below their MTI setup on the long and on the intraday, so they're bearish. American Electric Power is bullish. Amgen, bullish. Let's see, got something covered up here. That's AZN right there. So you get the idea. You get to see very quickly what stocks on their long-term chart are above the MTI indicator and likely trending higher. And then on the short-term intraday, you get to see what, how they're performing on their 30-minute chart. And of course, there's your charts on the left. I just loaded up Apple here. Apple's holding up very nicely. It is trading right at its month open. You can see that gray line on the monthly chart. But this is the type of picture we want to see with MTI. Those MTI white lines trending higher. Here's the trade tracker inside the roadmap software. It's going to tell us stocks that are above or below the FTD algo. You can look down the last column to see a bunch of red. Red means it's below the 3-day algo. Yellow means it's in between. All you need to look at is that last column, but you get some other insights here, like gold is above its month open. Open the month at 4,001. It's at 4,013. It's above the month open. It is in between the 3-day algo, though. It'd have to get above 40.43 for some buyers to start stepping back in more seriously on gold futures. This is the 3-day algo feature inside the roadmap called the trade tracker. And then we've got 4 simple patterns on the roadmap compass charts. Let's go through them. Our compass charts have proprietary buy zones and sell zones, and they're based off the reference bar. You see a blue bar there. The first pattern is a buy signal, and we have a reference bar which starts a new time segment for us to trade intraday. And if you get a push into the buy zone, we call that the penetration bar. And then the next higher high is the confirmation bar, and then you're on your way up to try to hit the target of the zone, of the buy zone. That's a classic buy signal right there. Remember that pattern. Then you have a buy failure where the reference bar or a bar after the reference bar goes into the buy zone and then it never makes a higher high. Instead, it flips around and reverses on you. We get it when it takes out the low of the buy of the reference bar, that makes it a buy failure. And a lot of times the buy failure bar is a better trade than the other. It's a great trade. When something fails to go higher, it will go lower, and it's usually a great trade. That's the buy failure. We had a buy signal. Now here's your sell signal. We've seen those happen this morning. Get below the reference bar, into the sell zone, shoot for your target. And of course, we've covered 3 of the 4. The final one must be a sell failure. And the sell failure is what Tom was trying to map out some potential spots for a sell failure when he was looking at the highs of our reference bars today, saying that we'd have to get above that high for the selling pressure to be taken off the table. And so if you see a sell failure like this, where we start a new time segment with the reference bar, we go into the sell zone, and then they fail to make a lower low and instead go above the reference bar, that's going to be a sell failure, especially if it can flip around and even go into the buy zone and take out a prior reference bar high. Then you're in a nice situation for a much better situation in terms of trying to buy the market. Not right now, got to stay patient. But these are 4 simple patterns, and since we're in a pattern right now of selling off, we're in a bearish pattern. The sell failure, if you're looking to get long, a sell failure would be the first opportunity, first logical opportunity to try to dip your toe in and probe, do some probing.
This is the beauty of the DTI approach. Short term, swing, or long term. This is why I don't use moving averages. And you never hear me say, oh, it's above or below this moving average, because what I'm doing is taking the tape, like I just did. Already I know for Genesis that the high is 66.75. If we go, if we went and looked at a live market right now, 66.75. So I know now what, if I saw the E-mini go above, it might be the first instance that we got a high over Genesis. And you should get one, honestly, 4 out of 5 days. However, if you don't, then this afternoon, if it breaks lower, it's going to get pretty bloody. Just letting you know, okay? And I plan on taking advantage of that using the DTI approach, okay? So the first thing you do is you look at your longs you got in your account and hedge those up, because right now that's where you should be, hedged up, or like I did on the calendar spread for the NVIDIA. And you wait, because patience will pay. And therefore, that's why when I come back today at 1:30 to 2, we're going to have a lot of answers we don't have right now. I hope what we've covered this morning in this kind of detail gets you motivated to watch this tape and learn everything we covered, because it's a real good thing, okay? This is a real good thing that we covered. You don't get to see it a lot, but you get to see it now. In fact, we've been on such a march, we haven't had to show everybody, but you ought to be very happy you were here today to see this, okay? And it ought to motivate you to have the tools, the roadmap, MTI, learn the accuracy module. I showed people yesterday during my live trade, I said, this is how I would trade the market yesterday. And I showed people in the short term how to do it. Did y'all enjoy yesterday? I used that 4 pattern setup. We knew what to do. Everybody made money. And people said, Tom, I paid for the class with that one lesson yesterday. So I'll be back today at 1:30 to 2 and figure out again where the odds say to go, if it's there. That's the beautiful thing about it. All right, time-wise, it's 11:43, Jonathan. Let me go through the short thing, but I don't want to play the record. I want to go live at 12 and evaluate Genesis for everybody. Okay? And then we'll play the tape. Folks, this is a trade, the Weekend Profits Club trade. I do it every week in market turmoil or when it's just straight out. I'll do this trade this afternoon at 3:30 to 4. And this is a trade I'll do before the close today. And John, how would they know what this trade is? They need a standard brokerage account, internet connection, a few minutes to set the trade before the weekend, right? So how do you post that trade? Okay. How do you post that trade, Jonathan?
Notification gets sent out via Telegram, via text message, and via email, and we post the alert through our membership area. All the normal.
But I will do this trade, okay, before this. This trade works regardless of what the market does. I can go either way. I can do anything, but the bottom line is this trade will come off today. So if you like making money, join me for the weekend side hustle. I think the track record speaks for itself. Get signed up for the next year, okay? And we can start you, even though you pay for it today, we can start you December 1st, give you time to go through some of the master classes and be ready to go. You know options and stuff, you can do it right there. But what we're going to do, time-wise, I'm going to come back and then we're going to evaluate the market at 12 to 12:10, and then we'll play the tape for the long version. Fair enough? Get signed up. Let me know if you're joining me this afternoon. This is a program that everybody says, Tom, they love it. We put the trade on Friday, take it off next week. All right. Jonathan?
Yeah, Tom, how many minutes?
You mind putting a timer up there where I can keep it?
You wanted how many minutes?
Well, I don't want to come back to 12 until Genesis is formed.
Yep, sounds good.
By the way, the new number on the high is 78. 78 on Genesis. It went up 3 points. Okay, Jonathan, we got it. And if you got any questions, ask it in here and we'll cover it. I'll have Jonathan and Chuck covered if y'all have any questions that we didn't deal with, but I'll be back in 12 minutes to evaluate Genesis. I guess I'm advertising for Norelco. Okay, so we know our high for Genesis is 66.78. Set an alert at 66.78. Set an alert at 66.78. And Jaffa, will you set one also?
Doing right now.
What does that tell me? If it goes above 66.78, I know it's gone above Genesis high, right? Okay. Hold on 1 second. I got to take this.
Does everybody know how to set an alert on their platform for 66.78 S&P futures? Let us know if you already know how to set an alert. Good deal. If you don't know how to set an alert, I can take a few minutes while Tom is off the mic here and show you. Neil, if you have any short options or short spreads that are in the money that expire today, you'll want to get out prior to the end of the day. Unless it's the SPX, and then it's going to cash settle you out. That'd be fine to leave those on. It'll just cash settle out. But anything that's assignable, you'll want to get out. On Tasty Trade, once you type in S&P futures at the top /ES, it's already there, but I'll show you again. Go over here to the far right, click the arrow that's pointed to the left. This is how it is on the Tasty Trade desktop application. I don't use the web portal. I think it's a little bit different than the web portal, so I can't show you that. But on the desktop application, click the arrow that points to the left. And then down here, there's a little bell icon. It'll go to the analysis or overview by default. Below the tabs, you can read clearly there's a little bell. When you click on that, you can just change your symbol should already be that, but change your symbol if you need to. I'll leave it on last traded price. Greater than, put your number in, click create alert. All right, see it's there, 66.78. Over on the roadmap, I'm going to ask about how to set alert on the roadmap. You go to launch, and go to price alerts, launch price alerts, and then you hit new, and you type in the symbol in all caps /ESZ25 last greater than 6678. And then you click OK, and it's right here working. And if that alert goes off, it's not like Tasty Trade, where Tasty Trade will tell you, it'll beep at you once or jingle at you once, and then you have to go figure out what it was if you're not looking at the platform. If you are looking at the platform on Tasty Trade, it'll pop up a display saying what it is, and then it goes away like 3 or 5 seconds later. On the roadmap, the way it works is if it gets above 6678, and as long as it stays above 6678, the roadmap's going to continuously beep at you. And so you're going to probably go searching where's that noise coming from, and you can go back in the launch price alerts. And then right click and delete the alert, or you can click the delete all button up here. So a couple different ways, but it's under launch price alerts inside the roadmap. So I've got my sound on my computer sharing through the Zoom room. So if it happens while we're live, you'll hear that. You'll hear that alert go off. Yes, Sherry, you'll want to get out of that prior to close.
Hey, Jonathan, let's teach him something else. I'm gonna be on this phone I got have this call for about another 5 minutes, I think. Okay, I'm listening.
All right. Well, what do you all want to learn right here in this 5 minutes? We've taught you a lot today already. Anything else you want to know? Brian says, let's review your favorite lesser used roadmap feature. Boy, that's a great question there. How do you get the XYZ bars above the bars? That's the newest update, Andrew. That's the newest update, Andrew. Brian, the lesser used feature, we don't showcase it that often, but it's a great feature to use in the morning time. It's quite a bit to it. It's under launch. It's called Dashboard. Under launch called Dashboard. And I'm going to ask everybody to chime in the chat. Just type in, one stock that comes to mind. Just type in one stock that comes to mind. I'm going to get this open and show you how it works. Okay, we've got Costco. We've got Broadcom, ABGO. We've got AMD. We've got NVIDIA. We've got another NVIDIA. We got Meta. We got TQQQ. We got Hood. Tesla. We got Apple. Bunch of them came through here. Hang on. Reddit, Eli Lilly. I'm not familiar with CNK. GLD, SLB. All right, that's enough. Thank you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of spread this out a little bit so you can see. We don't need to see that last column, but what this feature does, it's actually a combination of the left portion by default is what we call our portfolio manager. table, which shows us what's in its buy zone and what's in its sell zone off the current reference bar. And if I double click on Costco here, it'll load in a chart of Costco. And you'll notice that the background of the chart is green. The background of the chart is green because a lot of the stuff we do here is based off of framing. Where you have a high and a low and a range and look for the market to be above that or below that. Well, at the end of the trade day from 3 to 3:30 Eastern time, from 3 to 3:30 Eastern time. So when you start that 1 hour to go until the cash market closes, we'll take that range, that 30-minute range. On Costco yesterday was 923.25 or 26 and 90 or 921. So basically 923.25 down to 921 is the low, that 2.25 point range. And very simply, if Costco can get above that prior day's range, not the prior day daily range, but just that 30-minute range from that last half-hour mark in the prior day, if it's above it, like it is now at 928, the background of the chart will go green. If we keep cycling through, we might find there's a red chart. So that key
All right,
range.
I'm back, Jonathan. Sorry about that.
Thanks, Tom. But what I've showed you is not even the coolest part of this feature yet. If you right click on the table portion, you can click on horse race sort and then choose net open percent ascending or descending. We usually just toggle it to descending, and it's going to toggle your stronger markets to the top and your weaker markets to the bottom. And this is based on a percentage move from the reference bar open. So Brian, you can use it in the morning time. Just let your horse race go. Okay, Tom.
Yeah, one of the things that we've got the Genesis marked at 66.78, 66.57. I have support on the moneymaker at 45. I think it's going to be very interesting to watch this time zone. I'll be back at 1:30 live with my trading shoes on at 3:30 to 4. Look for a weekend side hustle trade. Folks, it looks like it'll be Tuesday morning after we get through Monday. There might be some late things we do Monday afternoon, but I want to be really light on my feet until two things happen. A catalyst happens that takes the market from liquidation stage, which is in a liquidation stage right now, and you can see it very clearly at 68.43, 67.64, 67.58, 67.39, 67.23, today's high and the high of RB3, 66.78, and 66.57 low. So let's play the weekend. Make sure everybody gets the opportunity to be with me this afternoon at 3:30. They typically come out on late Thursday or late Friday. Late Friday today, I can tell you, it'd be the last 30 minutes today. So let's go. There's a big opportunity here, folks, for guys like us. All we have to do, keep our head about ourselves and think, not today, not